Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Gunman. So something a little bit different today. I'm going to be doing a video on showing you how to get a terrible finish. Yes, that's true. So because these cars here, so this is a brand new Isuzu Ute, D-Max or MUX, whatever it is, either way. So they've got terrible orange peel down the sides of these, and I've painted a few of them recently. It's coming in with like a defect on the paint, so we're trying to polish them out, right? And we had to paint the whole side on one of these previously. Now, lucky that I did paint the whole side, because it had a terrible orange peel down it from factory, and my paint actually looked so much better. So when I sort of stood back, had a look at one side to the other, the trained eye myself, it stood out to me, right? So I took note of that and said, next time I'm going to deliberately make these have more orange peel in them. So I changed the clear coat that I was using. So generally I just use the PPG LVC 105 clear, which regular viewers of the channel will be familiar with. But as it turns out, that clear sort of likes to flow a little bit too much. So yeah, it is a little bit prone to run around little, swage lines, door handles, and that kind of stuff. So I did swap it up to the 136 clear, and there's a few other things that are working in my favor using the 136 clear. So it's thicker and gluggier, and it also doesn't have such a high gloss as the 105 clear. But you may not quite be able to tell from the video, but what I did on my first coat, right, I held the spray gun back a little bit, I slowed down a bit, and I didn't go for a fully closed coat. So what I mean by a closed coat is that you can't see through to any of the base coat or your standard clear coats or whatever is underneath, right? Whatever the substrate is. You're not fully closing the clear coat over the top of that. And the reason I come up with that idea is because I had noticed that the flatter and the finer and the less material you get on your first coat, I've noticed that that really sets your second coat up for a better finish. So I sort of use that logic in reverse to get a worse finish, right? So deliberately went a little bit slower, pressure down a little bit more than usual. So let's just say you usually spray at 2 bar or 2.2 bar. You could drop it down to say 1.8, or if that's in PSI, you could say drop it down from say 29 or 30 PSI down to even 25 or 6 or something like that. Again, these kind of things may take a little bit of trial and error. The thinning ratio and that kind of stuff is all going to play a part, and I can't tell you exactly how much thinners you need to put in, because there's so many different clear coats on the market. There's so many different discerning factors which will come into play. You've got your spray gun, your setup, you've got the temperature, even panel temperatures. So yeah, lots of different things that will come into play. So one thing I've been trying to do nowadays is to always aim for 30 degrees with my clear coats, right, all year round. And if I do need it a little bit thicker, then I can say drop a little bit of thinners out, but I'll still be aiming for that 30 degrees temperature on the clear. Now, like I say, the orange peel on this panel, it kind of looks terrible, but that's what I'm looking for. Because there's no use in having this guard and the rear door looking like, a sheet of glass with no orange peel or no texture in it, and then having the other two panels orange peely and dull, and that's going to stand out even more than having these panels perfect. And to me, that's what's really going to stand out. So I think this kind of thing is what will sort of separate the experienced painters from the inexperienced, because the inexperienced painters will potentially just paint everything the same way, you know what I mean, whereas not every single finish is the same. And it gets exacerbated when you go to those European finishes, especially some of those older BMWs and Mercedes. Now they are the kinds of finishes that potentially, depending on the clear coat that you're using, I may not even aim for a 30 degree clear coat. As I say, depending on the clear coat. Or you could just potentially still go for the 30, but add a little bit less reducer, or even just change it by your application. Because there's lots of factors that go into getting the exact finish that you're looking for. I still remember, it cracks me up. Like I've told this story a few times on the channel, but I just finished spraying my XF Ford Falcon in a Peter Jackson Racing livery. Anyway, I was brand new into the channel, so it must have been a good 10 years ago over there in Perth. It was at like the Targa West The last stage, it goes down, it comes into Perth City, like just down on the Swan River there. Beautiful day. I took the XF down there, and because it was so new on this channel, I still remember I had these cards out the front of my car, right? And I said, learn how to spray paint. And I was directing people to my YouTube and Instagram and Facebook pages. And one guy walks up being a bit cocky, and he goes, if you can piss, you can paint, you know, in front of his 4 mates, trying to, you know, big note himself. Anyway, all I said, my comeback, I said, not like that, and pointed to the XF, and he shut up and he had nothing to say. And because, yes, whilst anybody can just pick up a spray gun or, you know, pick up a brush and get some paint on, there's definitely levels to it. And yeah, being able to do something like this is definitely not as easy as what you might think. And then there's also execution, you know, so the other side of it is I can teach you guys everything. I will happily teach anybody that I work with anything I know. As long as they've got the right attitude and they're not a prick to me, I'm more than happy to share my knowledge. I actually really do enjoy watching other people thrive and reach their potential, and I'm never going to be the person that will get in your way of learning something. But again, if you're incapable of doing the steps leading up to it, well, then I'm not going to teach you how to paint. You know, if you can't get your prep work and your masking right, then I'm not going to get you in the booth to do, the big jobs and do the paint work. But there you go. So that's the guard that we did paint. This front door we did not paint. But as you can see, yeah, it's a pretty consistent uniform finish. And like I say, guys, the most important thing to get this shitty orange peel, this shitty finish, is get that first coat on a bit hungry. So don't go for a fully closed coat. Lower the pressure down a little bit, hold the gun back a little bit. Yeah, for me it was actually more difficult to get this crappy finish than it is to get a normal finish. But yeah, like when I do bonnets on these and roofs, which we do have to do quite often actually, the bonnets and roofs on these Isuzus, I will go a little bit better than factory because you're going to be forgiven on a bonnet because it's not down the side and it's not going to stand up. Like I did actually paint that bonnet on this one, so whilst it's not the dead flattest you will ever see, it is actually a little bit better than factory. So again, I've found 136 is better on these jobs than the 105, and I do that on the bonnets and roofs as well because I did try the 105 and I just was not happy with the finishes that I was getting. But hey, that's about it there, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I feel like I've been rambling half of it, so you know, but in saying that, I know people used to love my rambling videos, so hopefully you guys still do. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Coming out. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.